Every guy wants to know the secret to winning a girl's love. The truth is, most men go into relationships thinking it's about impressing her, doing more, chasing harder, or giving everything just to be seen. But here's what no one tells you. You don't win a woman by trying to win her. You win her by winning yourself first. Before you ask how to make her fall for you, ask yourself, do you even love yourself? Because if you're coming to her from a place of insecurity, of emptiness, of needing her attention to feel worthy, you're not showing up as a man, you're showing up as a project. And no healthy woman falls in love with a project. A woman doesn't fall for your money, your looks, or even your words. She falls for your energy, the calmness in your presence, the clarity in your decisions, the stability in your emotions. She falls for the way you carry yourself when no one's watching, the way you hold your own even when everything around you is unstable. So if you haven't taken the time to build that version of yourself, that grounded, focused, intentional man, then no amount of effort will make her stay. Because she'll sense it, she'll feel the emotional hunger, she'll feel the neediness behind your attention, and the moment she senses that you don't fully have you, she won't trust you to hold her either. That's why you don't chase love. You become love. You don't win her by performing. You win her by being so in tune with your own purpose, your own identity, and your own peace that she naturally feels drawn to be part of your life, not the center of it. And this brings me to something men get wrong all the time, chasing her. You think chasing equals effort. You think the more you text, call, plan, pursue, the more she'll see how much you care. But what you're actually showing is that you need her more than she needs you. And in that imbalance, love starts to die. Because here's the hard truth. The more you chase her, the less she values you. Why? Because what's too easily available is rarely appreciated. If you're always calling, always texting first, always trying to prove something, she doesn't have time to wonder about you. She doesn't feel the mystery. She doesn't feel the pull. You've given her everything, and she hasn't even had to earn it. Let that sink in. You're rewarding her with your full presence before she's even invested. You think love is about proving yourself. But love, real love, is earned by both people. Let her come to you. Let her wonder why you're not always available. Let her think about you when you're not chasing. Let her miss your presence instead of being overwhelmed by it. Because when a woman feels like she has to earn a man's attention, she begins to respect it. She values it. She doesn't take it for granted. And the more she respects your attention, the more she begins to fall, not for the performance, not for the gifts or gestures, but for the power of your presence. That's what attraction is. It's not built in the chase. It's built in the space. It's built in the way you don't flinch when she pulls away, in the way you stay grounded, calm, focused, like your life doesn't revolve around her approval. And if that unsettles her, let it. Because the kind of woman you want to attract will be drawn to your stability, not your need for her validation. And I get it. You want her. You like her. You feel the chemistry. But here's what separates men who get the girl from those who lose themselves in the process. The ability to hold space without collapsing. You're not chasing. You're positioning. You're creating a life so full, so purpose-driven that she naturally wants to be part of it. You're not running after her. You're moving forward. And if she wants to walk with you, she will. If not, you keep walking. Now we come to the next part of this. Once she does start connecting, once the bond starts to form, many men make the mistake of giving away their emotional leadership. They think love means becoming soft, compliant, overly agreeable. They think if they make her happy all the time, she'll love them more. But here's the truth. She doesn't want control. She wants safety. She wants to know that you're emotionally grounded, that you can handle her storms, that when she's spiraling, you're steady, that when she's confused, you bring clarity, that when she tests your boundaries, because she will, you don't fold, you don't beg, you don't break. She wants to know that you're not just there to please her, you're there to lead. Not with dominance, but with emotional strength, with certainty, with calm. When a man gives away his backbone to keep a woman, he doesn't get love, he gets tolerated. She may stay, she may smile, but she won't respect him. And without respect, love dies. So your job as a man is not to make her happy all the time. Your job is to create a relationship where both of you can feel emotionally safe, where she knows she can be vulnerable, wild, feminine, without you collapsing under pressure. You don't get that by avoiding conflict. You don't get that by always saying yes. You don't get that by being passive. You get it by being firm and kind, by having a spine and a heart, not one or the other. You give her space to feel. You listen, you care, but you do not let her dictate your identity. You do not let her mood swing control your emotional state. You do not shrink to make her feel secure. Because when a woman sees that she cannot move you emotionally, that her chaos cannot break your inner peace, that's when she feels safe enough to love you. Not because you see her perfect, but because you sit solid. She falls in love not with the man who chases, but with the man who leads. And leadership in love means knowing when to hold her close and when to pull back. It means loving her, but loving yourself more. Because when you know how to lead yourself, your mind, your purpose, your emotions, she will follow without being told. That's how you win her. You can respect a woman's femininity without worshiping it. That's where a lot of men fall apart. They confuse admiration with submission. Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she has softness, emotion, and energy that pulls you in. But don't forget, you are the man. And when you pedestalize her, you lose sight of your own value. Love should not feel like worship. It should feel like balance. Two humans connecting, not one trying to become worthy of the other. The moment you start thinking she's too good for you, or that you have to win her like some prize, you've already lost the game, because you've made her the goal and forgot that you are the prize too. She wants to feel adored, yes, but not idolized, because when a man puts a woman above himself, when he starts acting like she can do no wrong, she stops respecting him. You stop being a mystery and you start becoming an emotional servant, and no woman falls in love with a servant. She wants to see that you recognize her softness, but still hold your ground. She wants to feel like she can express her feminine energy without you becoming reactive, clingy, or emotionally unstable. She wants your presence, but she also wants your power. And if you start acting like her love is oxygen, she'll start treating you like you can't breathe without her. You weren't made to orbit her world. You were made to build your own and let her walk into it, not become it. That's why she tests you. That's why she says things to see how you react. She sips not doing it to be cruel. She sips doing it to feel your center, to feel that masculine stability that tells her you sip to be who you are, because I sips not losing myself in the process. And here's something else. Most men don't hear enough. You don't have to be a mystery to be respected, but you do have to be clear. There's a trend of men trying to play games, responding late on purpose, acting uninterested, using reverse psychology to create attraction. And while yes, it might spark short-term curiosity, it kills long-term connection. Because real women, emotionally mature women, aren't looking for someone who's mysterious just to be confusing. They want a man who sips clear, intentional, someone who doesn't hide behind tactics and strategies, but who can look her in the eyes and say, I want you, but I don't need you. There's nothing more attractive to a woman than a man who knows what he wants, speaks with clarity, and leads with truth. No need for manipulation, no need for detachment games, just solid emotional communication. Because mystery without clarity, that's just manipulation. Stop hiding your interests behind emotional masks. Stop thinking being unavailable all the time makes you stronger. What makes you powerful is when you're honest about your desire, but unattached to the outcome. That's what presence is, that's what leadership is, that's what masculine confidence looks like, clarity without neediness. Tell her how you feel. Let her know you are interested. Then step back and observe, not with desperation, but with grounded awareness, because your job is not to convince her. Your job is to show up as you fully, truthfully, and let her decide. And if she doesn't choose you, good, because the man you're becoming isn't looking to be chosen by everyone, only by the one who can respect what he brings to the table. That's why consistency is key. She needs to see that you're not just intense at the start, but present over time. She needs to see that you're not all fire in the beginning and then ice when the thrill fades. Because any man can spark chemistry, But only a grounded man can sustain connection. When you show up consistently, not just in the messages, but in your energy, your emotional availability, your leadership, she starts to feel safe. And when a woman feels safe, that's when love begins to grow. So stop trying to impress her in the first few weeks. Impress her with your follow-through. Impress her by doing what you said you do, by showing up when you don't just feel like it, by being emotionally stable when life gets messy. That sets what separates a fling from forever. Let me say this clearly. You don't need to be perfect. You do not need to always say the right thing. You don't need to make grand gestures or flood her with compliments. What you need is consistency. That quiet strength that tells her, I am not going anywhere unless you make me. That calm presence that says, you can trust me, not because I talk big, but because I show up. Women fall for that over time, through energy, not effort, through consistency, not chemistry. Because once the butterflies fade, once the excitement settles, the only thing left is how safe you made her feel, how present you stayed, how calmly you led, how deeply she could trust that you weren't another mask, but a man. And once you understand that, you no longer chase love. You attract it, and not just any love, the kind that stays. One of the fastest ways to lose a woman's attraction is to be available all the time. Always texting, always calling, always there whenever she turns around. You may think that proves how much you care, but in her world, that feels like you have nothing else going on. And no woman falls deeply in love with a man who doesn't have a life outside of her. It's not about making her feel neglected. It's about making your presence feel earned. There's a huge difference between being available and being valuable. Value is built in absence, not just in presence. It's built when you're missed, not when you're always within reach. If she never has to wonder what you're doing, never feels your distance, never gets the chance to reflect on your energy, she starts to take it for granted. It doesn't mean you play childish games or manipulate her by ghosting. That's not mature masculinity. It means that you build a life so full, so focused, so purpose-driven that she becomes a part of it, not the center of it. When you operate like a man with vision, you create natural space. You don't force distance, you just have direction. And she starts to realize that your time is sacred and being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. A woman respects a man who doesn't need her every moment, but still chooses her with full intent. That's where attraction matures. When she sees you not just as someone who's there, but someone who brings depth, focus, leadership every time you show up. And speaking of showing up, it's not just about being present physically. It's about being emotionally aware, reading between the lines, listening not just with your ears, but with your intuition. Because women rarely say everything out loud. They speak in emotions, in energy, in tone, in the pauses between their words. And if you want to win a woman's heart, you have to learn how to feel her beneath the surface. She might say, I'm fine, when she's actually pulling away. She might say it's nothing when something's deeply wrong. Most men take her words literally, but grounded men, emotionally intelligent men read her truth, not just her script. You listen to her body language, her delayed responses, her lowered tone. You don't overreact. You observe. That's emotional leadership. That's masculine intuition. It's not just about listening to reply. It's about listening to understand. Because when a woman feels seen, not just heard, that's when she softens. That's when the walls come down. That's when she starts to trust you with the parts of her no one else has seen. And what builds that trust? It's not fancy words. It's not grand gestures. It's your emotional presence. Being calm when she sits chaotic. Being grounded when she sits confused. Being stable when she's storming. She doesn't need you to fix her feelings. She just needs to feel that you're strong enough to hold space for them. That's how women fall in love. Not with perfection, but with safety. And here's the final truth you need to hear. If she doesn't respect you, if she mocks your boundaries, if she dismisses your emotional truth, walk away. Because no love, no matter how deep, is worth the price of your dignity. You cannot force someone to see your value. You cannot beg someone to stay and expect them to love you the way you deserve. You cannot win her love if she's playing games with your self-worth. The most powerful move you can ever make is to leave when you're not being respected. It's not weakness. It's not quitting. It's just choosing yourself. It's saying, I know what I bring. I know how I love. I know what I offer. And if you can meet me in that space, I won't stay and try to convince you. The real man doesn't fight for someone who's decided to forget his value. He fights for his future, not his pain. He walks away not because he doesn't care, but because he cares about himself too. And the irony, that steps usually when she realizes what she lost. Because when a man walks away with dignity, peace, and power, the world starts to notice. So if she doesn't respect your energy, remove it. And when you do, you don't just win love. You win yourself back.